Hello and welcome to a special virtual information session hosted by Edmonton Elections as we talk about the opportunities to work the upcoming municipal election. My name is Chris Hayward, project lead with the Elections Office, and joining me today is Jessica Avila, talent acquisition consultant with Edmonton Elections. Hi, Jessica.
Hi there, Chris. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining us. At this time, we acknowledge that we're on the traditional land of Treaty 6 territory and the traditional Métis homeland of Region 4. We acknowledge the diverse Indigenous peoples whose ancestors' footsteps have marked this territory for centuries, from First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and now settlers from around the world. Turning to today's session, you can see an overview of our agenda on the screen there. Jessica will start by giving us an introduction to the election itself. We'll give you the key dates, key things you need to know about the actual election, and then we'll dive into the actual positions that we need in order to make the project happen. So we'll tell you what positions are available, the characteristics of a successful election worker, and most importantly, how you can go about applying. After that, we'll take your questions. Our inbox is open at elections@edmonton.ca. So if there's anything you'd like to know about the election, specifically about the role that you can play in making it a success, feel free to email those questions to us. We'll try to get to as many as we can today, but please know that if we can't respond to your question today, we will make sure that you get an email response. And you can continue to email those after the fact as well. And with that, I'll pass it over to Jessica.
All right. Well, thanks, Chris, and welcome, everyone. Happy to have you here and watching. I'm excited to give you a bit more information about our election worker positions. But to begin with, we'll just start with Edmonton Elections is the team that plans and executes the 2021 Edmonton election on behalf of the City of Edmonton, Edmonton Public Schools, and Edmonton Catholic Schools. So this time around, the Edmonton election will also include the Senate nominee election and a referendum vote as well. And you can vote in the upcoming Edmonton election if you are at least 18 years of age, a Canadian citizen, and a resident of Edmonton on election day. So, however, to work in the election, you don't have to be eligible to vote. So there will be multiple voting opportunities to vote in the election. So on election day, which is October 18th, voting stations will be open from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. through advanced voting from October 4th to 13th from 1 to 7 p.m., including Thanksgiving Monday, which is October 11th, and also through a special ballot if you are unable to vote on election day or at advanced voting station for the 3 legislated reasons. So Edmonton Elections is looking for team members for election day and advanced voting, as well as institutional voting opportunities. So why should you become an election worker? So there's a few reasons why. So you could play a vital role in ensuring the election is a success. We are recruiting 3,000 plus election workers to make sure the election runs super smoothly. And we can only do this if you come and join our team. You can also be part of the democratic process, which is very important. The role election workers play is critical to helping Edmontonians cast their vote for their local representatives. And from setting up safe, accessible voting stations to providing a friendly face at the door, you will support voters to cast their ballots. And your work will reassure voters that the democratic process is in good hands. You'll also be able to have that great connection point into the community. So your community needs you. It's a wonderful opportunity to work alongside your neighbors, meet new people, and contribute positively to your community. And it's also quite fun. And you can also add to your skill set for future job opportunities. So our election worker positions may give you that chance to grow and develop professional skills that will transfer to other work opportunities. It's a great way to build your resume, make connections, and work for a reputable employer. So what are some characteristics that we're looking for in an election worker? What makes someone a really great election worker? Well, it's about having the right mindset from the start. So an Edmonton Elections job is right for you if you are an engaged citizen. So you have an interest in the electoral process and believe in it, and you are an actively engaged resident. If you are self-motivated, so you do what's needed to make your shift go smoothly and the workday to go well for your teammates, and you truly understand how important your job at the election is. You are resourceful, so you're able to use the tools, the training, the information, and teammates around you to create a positive experience for voters. That's really the key. And you're quick on your feet, so you're someone who can come up with quick solutions to challenges or situations as they come up on the job. You aim to provide great customer service and enjoy helping others. And being flexible, that's also a key thing. You're able to adjust and shift and pivot as needed. You understand that things can change and you can adapt really quickly. So if any of these points speak to you, I truly encourage you to apply for an election worker position. And so you're probably wondering, so what jobs are available with the elections? Well, we're hiring for 6 main positions. So let's see which opportunity is right for you. So we'll start with presiding deputy. So this role is perfect if you're a leader who has experience supervising at least 10 people and who has the knowledge of election processes. You'll be the lead at the voting station and will ensure all the processes are followed appropriately by election staff, including proper setup and closure of the voting station. You'll also act as a liaison between election officials, scrutineers, and other representatives that may come in. This position requires some driving as well and the use of a personal vehicle in order to pick up and return supplies and a cell phone while on duty. So if you're an excellent communicator, have an ability to lead people, and are an experienced election worker, this position may interest you. Next up is the assistant presiding deputy. So this is a great fit for you if you have excellent verbal and written communication skills and are an expert tablet user. You'll manage the activities of the ballot clerk and will regularly input the ballot count and other data into an online database using that tablet. You'll assist with the supervision of the voting station and will fill in as needed for the presiding deputy. So the key to this role is the ability to work well with all kinds of people, being comfortable with data entry using a tablet, and learning new applications. Next up is the deputy returning officer. So this is an ideal position if you have great interpersonal skills and enjoy interacting with the public. The deputy returning officer is the most versatile of our election positions. So in this role, you may find yourself greeting voters at the entrance of the voting station or at the registration table confirming the voter's identification. You may also be directing voters throughout the voting process to ensure good flow and a positive voting experience. So if you're high energy and have a customer service focus, this may be the right fit for you. After that, we have tabulator clerk. So in this role, you'll be responsible for the setup, safety, and security of the vote tabulator and safeguarding the ballot box. You'll ensure the completed ballots are properly scanned into the vote tabulator. This role requires some driving as well and the use of a personal vehicle in order to pick up and drop off the tabulator. If you're keen on accuracy, methodical, and excellent with math and calculations, and if you're comfortable learning and using new technology and devices, I would consider that you apply for this position. Next up is the ballot clerk. So this role is good for someone who loves to step up and help others. So in this position, you'll issue and process ballots for voters. This involves completing documentation and ballot accounting and noting if there are discrepancies or any concerns. You'll also ensure the correct number and type of ballots are supplied to the voting station as per requirements. So if you're methodical when it comes to processes, keen on accuracy, and excellent with math and calculations, this role is a really good fit for you. And last but not least, we have the occupational health and safety clerk. So this position is very safety minded and will ensure all voters and workers on site are following proper health and safety protocols. You may also be assisting voters who have additional accessibility needs at the voting station. So being that helper is really important. And if you have a passion for customer service and are safety minded, this is the role for you. So now that you've heard about our election worker roles, the next step is to submit an application. So how do you go about doing that? Well, you can visit edmonton.ca/election jobs for the job descriptions and online application form. The application form will allow you to select your top 3 choices for election positions and also upload a resume if you choose to. Uploading a resume is optional, but recommended, especially if you're interested in our supervisory positions, such as the presiding deputy or assistant presiding deputy positions. And once you submit your application, you'll be asked to complete an online assessment to finalize it for the election work. Both the application and the assessment must be completed in order to be considered for a position. And qualified applicants will be contacted in August and September by our ward coordinators. They'll review your application, your resume, your assessment to see which role your skills and experience are best suited to. And so you don't have to be eligible to vote in order to work in the election. Everyone is welcome to apply as long as they are 18 years of age or older as of October 1st, 2021. And just to remind you as well, you must be available to work on any of the dates mentioned from October 4th to 13th for advance voting and on an election day, which is October 18th.
Great. Thank you, Jessica. A lot of great information there for those of you that are looking to contribute to what's a really important event in our city's calendar. I'm going to turn it over to questions and answers now. So hope you're ready, Jessica. Hope you're strapped in for this one.
Ready?
Um, if
Go
you do
ahead.
have questions, if you do have questions, just a reminder that you can email them to us at elections@edmonton.ca. And thanks to you to those of you that have already submitted them to our inbox. First one's come in a number of times, Jessica, so I want to start here. You talked a lot about the types of positions that are available, described the responsibilities that each of these positions have. There's a lot involved in the election. So what is Edmonton Elections doing to prepare staff prior to the voting opportunity?
Yeah, great question. So, training is really a critical part of the election process. Election workers need to feel confident and comfortable and competent, right? That they're able to do the jobs that we're asking them to do. So, and our training is designed to do just that. So, online training is mandatory for all election workers. So, access to a computer or other type of device and comfort in using the online resources is required as part of the job. There are also other opportunities for learning as well. So, we'll give you a chance to be a part of a virtual Q&A session. Let's say if you have additional questions that you're not sure about as an election worker. Some roles will also be required to take part in additional classroom learning as well. And that can be either in person or online. And those will be focused more on critical topics such as how to set up the voting station and what that layout is, or how to use the vote tabulator, which is very important to know and have that hands-on experience prior to coming in for your shift that day. We also do give our election workers written manuals to refer to, and we provide checklists as well. So those are really, really important and handy to have, and a really good resource. So we truly want to ensure that every election worker is feeling prepared for their election role prior to that, them stepping on their shift for that first time.
Right. So whether you're an experienced election worker, whether this is something that you're considering doing for the first time, variety of ways for you to learn what's involved and feel really comfortable and prepared as you go into that voting opportunity.
Exactly.
Okay, that's great to know. So you talked about the different types of training that are on offer. We have the online piece, some supplementary learning that could happen either online or in person, and then the written pieces that support that. How long is it going to take for somebody to go through this?
So, online training can take between 2 to 3 hours. It just really depends on the position and the worker's comfort with that online platform where we're hosting the training. So, the time required for additional training really does vary depending on the position. And I should mention as well that staff are paid for training once they have completed their full election shift.
Right. Okay, good to know. So I should be prepared to invest a little bit of time in preparation, but obviously it's worth it to feel comfortable and ready to go on
Yes,
election day.
definitely. Mhm.
Great. Another question that's come in a lot, and obviously this is always top of mind for folks when we're talking about job opportunities. Where can we find out more about pay?
Right. So we haven't talked about pay yet, but and it's really because every single role is quite different in the way that they're paid. So information regarding the pay rates for each role and even the training pay for each position is included on each specific job posting. So if you're interested in knowing more about that, you can find our job postings on our website, which is edmonton.ca/election jobs. So those are all posted there with a bit more information for you to review before you make your decision about which position you want to apply for.
Okay, so a variety of salaries on offer if you like more
Yes,
information online if you're interested in finding out more about that. Okay, great.
that's right.
You talked about the number of people that are needed. We know that we need around 3,000 people to make this happen, so distributed around over 200 voting stations, I think you said. So if someone is interested in working in their neighborhood voting station, they want to stay close to home on
Right.
election day, is that something Edmonton Elections can accommodate?
Right, good question. So we do try to accommodate people's requests and preferences as much as we can because I understand if it was my ward in my area, I'd like to work in that in within that area and have it be close by to home where I reside. So we truly understand those requests and we try to accommodate them as best as we can. We do have to fill positions, and it's really just based on the type of positions that are available and your work skills and your experience and where workers are needed as well. So we do aim to place you within the ward you reside, but this may not always be possible, but we do try. So just know that.
Okay, great. Good to know. So we can certainly take those requests and try to accommodate them as
Of
best we
course.
can. Gotcha. Um, you spent quite a bit of time talking about skills and abilities that are needed, and breaking those down position to position. You talked about some experience that's helpful, and also some of the qualities that you can bring to the role as an election worker. An interest in democracy, kind of a champion of local engagement and things like that. I want to give you one other chance to talk about some supplementary skills that might be useful for an election worker to have.
Sure. So, yeah, we talked a bit about the skills and other assets, but what else do we look for in a potential election worker? We really are trying to and striving to build a team that reflects the diversity within the community. So, what that means is that individuals who are fluent in multiple languages, including American Sign Language, are encouraged to apply. We'd love to see that on your application. We'd love to see you have that be on your application form. So if that's the case and you are someone who speaks multiple languages, just make sure to highlight that if you are submitting a resume, and make sure you indicate that on your online application form. In addition, we are always looking for individuals who have an inclusive and respectful mindset as well. So that's really the key to a successful election. We're looking for individuals who can communicate in an inclusive and respectful manner with the public, and have that customer service focus as well. So those are just a couple of extra assets or things we would look for in a potential election worker.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. And I guess a reminder that we can't consider what you don't tell us. So if you think you have a skill that might be useful, please let us know, because you never do know. This is coming a number of times, Jessica. So I do want to give you the chance to speak to it. You mentioned hours of work, so when the voting stations are open during advance and on election day, October 18th. Can you just give us that information again? How long can folks expect to spend at their voting station on election day?
It really depends on the shift. So, and depends on the position a bit, but in general, shifts can be between 13 and a half to 14 hours on election day, and between 8.5 to 9 hours for advance vote. So those are the typical shift lengths. But as I mentioned, it does vary amongst the positions. So it's best to just check the job postings on our site, and that will actually have it defined for you there if you're interested in knowing more. So.
Okay, that's good to know. So be prepared for a long day, but know that there are breaks built into that for you.
Yes,
but
that does include breaks. I should say that does include breaks. So yeah.
Yeah, not 14 hours of continuous work.
No,
okay,
not
good.
At all. Not at all.
That's reassuring. We have had this question coming, and I'm gonna try and tackle it, and you can jump in, Jessica, and let me know if you can fact check me if I may be mistaken.
Okay, Chris.
But there are a lot of people who come into the municipal election with experience in working elections with other orders of government, right? So people who've worked the federal election, people who've worked previous municipal elections, provincial elections. Is this an advantage? Is having some election experience preferable, or is it really anybody who's interested and thinks they can contribute?
I think there's a bit of both. So if you have previous election experience, even if it's not with Edmonton elections, I think that's still valuable experience. It'll definitely help you in any role that you take on with us. At the same time, you have to keep in mind that what you may have learned through your other elections experience, it may be a little bit different in the way we are running things and we are doing things and how we're training our election workers. So just keeping that in mind, the process may be a little bit different and the steps may be a bit different, but that it would seem to me that you'd already have that kind of background mindset and experience that we're looking for. It's just kind of shifting how things are done. And so I think definitely that's an asset, whether you have that experience or not, if you're open to applying with us.
Okay, great. And I said I was going to answer that question, and I immediately just turned it over to you. So sorry about that. And I guess if you've worked an election before, whether it's federal, provincial, municipal, you know that every election is slightly different. So I'm sure you're coming into it prepared for that. And I do want to remind folks as well, and Jessica spoke to this right off the top, but there are some significant differences in this municipal election compared to the one that was in 2017. And our training will absolutely prepare you to respond to those changes. So experienced or not, we'd love to see your application, and we'll prepare you equally. All right, I'm just going to do one final check of the inbox, Jessica, to make sure we haven't missed anything that we could speak to today. I think we're good. So I'm going to move us along here.
Okay.
Sorry, I have to transition screens. There's that awkward pause as I do that. A reminder, and Jessica spoke to this at the end here, but if you are interested in finding out more about our positions, visit edmonton.ca/election jobs. I looked on the page this morning. It looks great. There is a ton of information about each position, some key information about the election itself, and reiterates what Jessica said about those key qualities that make a successful election worker. Important to know that the application is online and active now. So you can go and take a look at that page and submit your application. It's right there at the top of the screen in front of you. Click on that button, fill out the form, but do make sure you've walked through those position descriptions and really gotten a sense of what you think you can contribute successfully to. A reminder again, you can email us with your questions. elections@edmonton.ca is the email address, or you can give us a call at 780-496-8008. And with that, we'll sign off. Thanks once again, Jessica. A lot of great information that you provided there. We hope you're excited. We hope you're enthusiastic about your opportunity to take part in the election. Please do reach out to us with your questions. But otherwise, we hope to see you very soon. Thanks.